Hello, welcome to the course Business Law. Today we will discuss the introduction to business law. Before we move to business law, let us have a discussion regarding what is law. Law as it is the command of the sovereign. Law in its legal sense, as distinguished from other uses of the term, means those principles and rules that govern and regulate social conduct and the observance of which can be enforced in courts. We'll see a few definitions. The first one being given by Woodrow Wilson. Law is that portion of the established habit and thought of mankind which has gained distinct and formal recognition in the shape of uniform rules backed by the authorities and power of the government. Next, in the words of Blackstone, law is the rule of civil conduct prescribed by the supreme power of the state, commanding what is right and prohibiting what is wrong. Holland has defined law as law is a rule of external human action enforced by the sovereign political authority. And Austin says law is a rule of conduct imposed and enforced by the sovereign. Next, we will move to business law. Business law, also known as commercial law or mercantile law, is that branch of law which governs and regulates trade and commerce. According to Slater, the phrase mercantile law or commercial law is generally used to denote that portion of the law which deals with the rights and obligations arising out of transactions between persons. Business law, as a matter of fact, is one of the important branches of civil law. It cannot be regarded as a separate branch of law. A business person is one who enters into business transactions, and he may be an individual, an association of persons such as partnership or company. Now we'll see a few definitions of business law. Sen and Mitra observe that business law is that part of law which regulates the transaction of the mercantile community is called commercial or mercantile law. M.C. Shukla defines mercantile law as mercantile law may be defined as that branch of law which deals with the rights and obligations of mercantile persons arising out of mercantile transactions in respect of mercantile property. In the words of A.K. Sen, commercial law includes the law applicable to ordinary transactions of merchants, bankers, and traders, and denotes that branch of law which relates to the rights of property and relations of persons engaged in commerce. Now we'll discuss the scope of Indian business law. In the present day scenario, mercantile law is not confined to only the business community. It has its relation with every member of the society. For example, the Contract Act is as much applicable to the business as to non-business community. It is important to note that not only business community enters into contract, but the common man in his day-to-day experiences enter into a number of contracts. For example, when we travel by rail, air, perhaps we do not realize while doing so we are bound by certain rules and regulations. Mercantile law has a fairly wide scope. The government lays down the rules and regulations to run the business activity smoothly. These are all parts of the overall mercantile law. The following laws have linkages with the business law: the Indian Contract Act, Sale of Goods Act, Partnership Act, Companies Act, Negotiable Instruments Act, Banking Companies Act, Insurance Companies Act, Carriers and Carriage of Goods Act, Commercial Securities Act, Patents and Copyright Act, Insolvency Act, Arbitration Act. Now we will move to the sources of business law. The sources of business law in India can be traced back to mainly four elements. Number one, the English mercantile law, which consists of the English common law, principles of equity, and law merchant. The second source is the precedents, which are the past judicial decision by courts. The third one, the Indian statute law, the act of Indian legislature. And the fourth one, local customs and usage. Hope you have enjoyed this course. this session in this course. Thank you. All the best.